to start. Sing that to open up.
Hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libers. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
Just what the flipping Nora are your lot doing?
I'm still in there. I'm still right behind him.
It was just a very well thought out tactical plan by Danny.
I want goal!
I can literally feel the steam coming out your ears.
So it's like a fun little post-game snack.
For Wednesday Week! Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. The Sheffield Wednesday were in action at the weekend for the curtain closer of the season away at Watford, where we sang a lot about Luton Town and watched some pretty dour football in parts. Josh Windass became the most prolific goal scorer we've had in this millennium thus far. And he may or may not be bidding adieu to Sheffield Wednesday. But we will be getting into that later on as we talk about contracts. We talk about who's going, who's staying, whether we'll have a manager. We don't even know. Now, ladies and gents, I do need to tell you something. It's quite shocking, quite some shocking information right to start with. We took Stevie to Pop World in Watford, and he'd never had a WKD blue.
What? And I never will again.
I don't understand how you've
say that,
World
Stevie.
before.
Let's not be hasty.
Oh my God!
How have you got through life?
Mate, honestly, I woke up the next day, and even this morning, I can still taste it. And Blue Wicked hangovers hit differently, don't they? They hit differently.
I'm still on it.
It might have been everything else and not that.
No, specifically just the Wicked Blue, apparently, H. Apparently that. So tonight joining me, I've got Stevie, Holly, and Ash. Ash will be manning the comments. Don't forget to get in touch, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because Ash tells me off if I don't say that. How's it going, Ash? Anyway, you're right, pal.
I'm banging, thank you very
Sober.
much. Even sober, yeah, even better for not joining you three at Pop World in Watford. So
how was the FOMO?
It was great because the FOMO is always crap at the time, but in the morning I felt like fresh as a daisy. So
Bank holiday Sunday, right off.
It was, I should have come. I should have been there, but I was being an adult.
I love the way you said that. As Holly's still sporting the balloon that she stole from Pop World behind her on screen right now because it's yellow. We're like, I'm going to be Chancery Pop World balloon. Yeah,
balloon. I put it in the luggage rack on the train. Nobody took it, so
I don't think anybody wants that.
I saw your photo yesterday morning, and I was like, Holly, what have you done? Have you really gone that militant that you're taking a balloon back onto you?
Yeah. Holly was in action on Sunday playing football after quite what was a heavy night, as we may have alluded to. And how did that go, H? Did you get in a tear up?
It was it was a cup semi-final, and me vomiting on the pitch after blocking a shot made it into the match report. So
ever the professional.
I tell you what, and that's why we're award-winning, kids. That's why award-winning. Don't forget to get in.
Did that wind you? And I was like, yeah, something like that. And everybody on the sideline just burst out laughing and shout, "How does Pop World feel now?"
It's pop well. Right then, let's get into football. Let's stop telling people what reprobates we are. Ashley, this was the lineup against Watford. Charles in goal, Valerie Otabeo, Shea Charles, Johnson, Bannon, Windass, Ingleson, Patterson, Gassama and Smith. Patterson getting his 9th or 10th start on the bounce, and looking rather fetching in that graphic, by the way. I hope that's not the last we've seen of him because I quite like him, but I feel like we're going to get into that. Otabeo getting a start as well, Ash. Didn't cover himself in glory in some areas, I thought.
No, it was a strange one because I think Inekwe has been probably, for me, I know no one probably agree, but probably one of the standout performers of the last few weeks. Well, to say he was virtually out of the door, should I say, in beginning of the season, I think is coming because of injuries, be told, and not strengthening in January for a centre back. But I think he equipped himself pretty well. So I don't know if he had a knock, but he did come on later on. So I think it must have just been a change and get Gab some game time.
Pretty much. That was probably it. Now there wasn't a huge amount of Sheffield Wednesday action during the game, Stevie. There was one, Josh Windass is chasing a record. If he got 53 goals, he'd have beaten Marcus Tudgay's goal scoring record for the club. And after a misplaced pass from their midfielder, I thought, here we go, kids. And I was out with James Kay, used to play for the youth team and reserves and whatnot back in the end of the 2000s, and he was saying he's going to put a bet on for Josh Windass to score and get booked because he thought if he scores, he's taking his shirt off. That's it. And as soon as this ball fell to his feet, we were out. You know what I mean? We were going to Vegas at this point, and it didn't happen, did
it? No, and it was one of those. It was almost too easy, wasn't it? It's broke through and everything. The whole stars aligned. Misplaced pass, square, 20 yards out. He's put his foot on it. He's rolled it out. He's got all the time in the world. And at the moment that he's sort of approached the area, I'm thinking, is he going to slot it left? Is he going to slot it right? Please don't knock the skin off it. Just place it into the net. It's there for you. And he decided he was going to try and take the back of the net off, didn't he? And missed the target. It was about 4 yards over. So yeah, at that point you're kind of wondering if it's going to be one of those days for him. We'll get into him obviously getting a goal. I'm thankful he did.
I tell you what,
at that point,
before we speak about the actual goal, I mean, let's get into prior Josh Windass, Holly. I've been on a few opposition shows, and I think I've said it on this show a couple of times, that he's had his 5 decent appearances for the season, so that's him done. I've been quite harsh there, haven't I? I think I've really underplayed his prowess during the season, but I don't know what it is. Is he one of them players that pops up with a goal whose positioning and presence on the pitch isn't really there, or am I being really out of order?
I think the thing, so like people always say, people like Liam Palmer or Jack Hunt or whatever, they're always a 6 or a 7 every week. Josh Windass has no 6 or 7s. He's a 10 or he's a 2. He's like, there's no middle bit. And I think, from my point of view, I think when he's bad, it's bad, and when he's good, it's good. I don't know if that's that he's more of an emotional player rather than else. That's how I would play, to be fair. But I really want to like him, and for some reason I don't, and I don't know what that is. It's not based on anything, and everyone keeps giving me loads of stats about how good he is, but it's just not going in, I'm afraid. I don't know why.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the COD philosophy he tries to do or something like that, and thinks he's being really cryptic. Just sign the fucking contract or don't, Josh. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? Part of it might just be like a hangover because I don't like his dad. And again, that's not for any reason at all. It's just
I quite liked his dad.
Play well against us, and
his dad just looked like some bloke from the pub, though. I kind of liked it. Like there was always the overweight lad on the Sunday League who had really good feet. You know what I mean? Yeah, Ash.
Oh, yeah. No, to be fair, but in a footballing sense, he always used to play well against us. I don't really like Hull. So there's literally no reason for me to dislike either of them, but it's still there.
Is Josh Windass the player that the eye test and then the stats. So people look at him, and I've been guilty. I think I'm coming round to your way, Dan. That I think I've judged him harshly. He's finished joint 4th in the top scorers in the Championship. So if you're a stats wanker and you like that sort of stuff, then there is that to back up. And in his interview after the game, he said that he'd been accused of being injury prone. But I think he played something like 41 of the 46 games or something daft like that. You know, it is that black and white. But then the eye test, you look at him and he comes off at half time, or he's sulking, or when he does come off and he walks around the pitch at Hillsborough, you know, he's looks like someone's just smacked his arse. So I think the eye test is different to the ability and the stats.
I agree with that, and that is 100% how I judge people. To be fair, because
you're all about the vibes.
Popular belief, you don't actually have to give credit where it's due at all. You can do what you want, but yeah, I think he might be one of those people that that. You know, they give him media training and they say all this great stuff about Wednesday fans and say all this. And he doesn't do that. He don't pander to us, does he? He just comes out with random shit and says, I'm not celebrating in League One. And we're just like, but it's all we've got. And we've just beat Fleetwood. Great.
I guess it's that. Actually, let's get some comments out and let's talk about some other game incidents.
Oh, excuse me. Matt Strickland, Windass has helped us out loads last 2 seasons. Would be ashamed to see him go. I'll have to put this one up. Ben says you're spot on, Dan. So I don't like them ones, do I? Is he Windass is so stubborn that if he hadn't scored on Saturday, he would definitely be resigning.
No, I think he'd have stayed. We should have stopped him.
Does that say resigning or re-signing? Because I feel like there's
re-signing. Re-signing. Not resigning.
Fraudulent slip.
Yeah. Defo.
Apologies.
Defo.
Yeah.
And I saw did I see a comment from a United fan watching this? Welcome to the show. He's coming peace, to be fair. Ash, chuck it up.
Yeah, evening people, United fan here. I hope you guys get the chance to hear issues sorted soon and can push on. The Steel City derby deserve to be played at the highest stage in the Prem. I hope it all gets sorted.
I agree. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. And okay, so Stevie, there was one where Pierce Charles tried to. This is not a slight on Pierce Charles, by the way, because I think his distribution is the best part of his game. I think it's genuinely incredible. However, at this point, he fluffed his lines a little bit, played it to their midfielder, and there was a heart-in-mouth moment there, wasn't there?
Yeah, momentarily. And the thing about his distribution, totally agree with you in terms of the quality that he's got. And I do think he's for his size, and he's much maligned about that on this podcast, certainly by myself in recent weeks. When it's in and around his range, he's as good a shot stopper as you know we've seen in a long time. I do think he's got something special there. We've talked about that a lot. In terms of his distribution, it's quite unique. Obviously, he's equally comfortable left and right. You can see that, and almost plays like an outfield player at times, doesn't he? In terms of what he looks for, and you'll watch goalkeepers that will want to ping the ball high and long, and he can drill it. He can play long, driven passes out towards the halfway line. So when you watch him do it sort of on a regular basis, you become accustomed to it. And on this particular one, when the balls come back to him, it's like he's tried to fizz it, almost like he's tried to fizz it into the centre circle, but ever so slightly just misplaced it. You saw the panic, and he went back early because I think he knew that he'd made the mistake.
He knew full well he'd not connected with that properly.
Yeah. But fortunately, he was back on his line to make in the end what was a relatively comfortable save. But you know, for that first sort of 2-3 seconds, when it's left the Watford lad's foot and it's drifting, you're thinking we might be in trouble here.
Do you know what, though? Do you know what? It is one thing that I will say, because there was a couple of games where he did do just a couple of misplaced passes, but he is straight on it. Even if it's not necessarily like it still goes to our player, but it's a bit of an hospital ball, he is straight there for the return ball. Like, he always recovers quite well. Whereas, and that's not to slag off James Beadle, he's just a young man trying to play his game. But like Beadle, if he makes a mistake, it's like, oh shit, and it just like, it's tough. And not just him, other keepers that we've had, if they make a mistake, they don't really recover well, where he always makes himself available for that next one if it's something that ain't gone to plan, which I think is really good, especially for a lesser experienced keeper.
James Beadle, though, Holly, isn't it weird how we've kind of like he was up here at one point, wasn't he? And then we're kind of like, yeah, he's probably done with us now. Go on, off you trot back on loan somewhere else now. You know what I mean? It seems dead harsh. He's been great for us in some respects, and then something happened this season to him, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't even know what it is. I feel like this is just me explaining how I get caught up in the moment for every single player and whatever the vibes are. Because at one bit, I absolutely love James Beadle. And now you're trying to get me to explain why I now love Piers Charles. I've got nothing.
I think circumstance. The circumstances of Piers Charles going in will be quite harsh on James Beadle, and I think history won't remember James Beadle as a Sheffield Wednesday player. Sheffield Wednesday history won't remember him as fondly as he deserves to be, because let's be right, when he came in from Oxford last year, and we were in that dogfight of a relegation battle, he was outstanding, and we'll reference over the next week or so our Player of the Year, our Man of the Match awards for this season. And I think he's top 3 or 4. I'm not saying whether he's won it or not, but he's right up there at the start of this season. He was pulling off saves. He was in there. He was a pivotal player for us. It just so happens that when we got to that point in the season, when we were in the conversation for getting into the top 6, he made a couple of high profile mistakes. The Coventry one, I think somebody just put a comment that potentially, I think somebody's put up, the Coventry game was the one, wasn't it? And it's Harpo Speaks has just put on Coventry game did for Beadle. I kind of agree with that, and he didn't leave Rule necessarily anywhere to go with it, and I think that's kind of harsh. I will remember him more fondly, as I've said, than certain people will now, sort of talking about it, and it was really sad to see actually. My one memory of the lap of honour or whatever you want to call it last week at Hillsborough, Beadle didn't stay out for it. He did 5 minutes. He went round to the north, and as soon as he could, he was down the tunnel, and he's going to leave us after 2 years of decent service, and he's going to go on and have a really good high profile career in the Premier League. And I don't think he's going to be go on, sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say that. I was going to say, where do you think he'll end up next season? So that'll give a barometer of where the other people think that Beadle's at and his time at Sheffield Wednesday. Because if he goes to a League One team, I'm not saying he will, but then do you know what I mean? That will how he's how he's performed at Sheffield Wednesday will get his next loan, because obviously he's not going to stay at Brighton. I would not think he's going to be a backup next season. So where his next loan is it going to be his top end Championship? Is it going to be League One, or is it going to be abroad? So I don't know.
Probably Leicester.
It's that sort of ilk, but Dan's just referenced Leicester there. It's that sort of ilk of team, isn't it? I mean, I think the Leicester goalkeeper is actually quite highly regarded, but a relegated team coming down, a team that's flirting with the playoffs going, and doesn't go up.
Ipswich is a perfect fit for him. I think they're going to find it tough next year.
Whoever needs any of those sort of teams that need a goalkeeper, yeah, absolutely. But what you've got to remember as well is we're talking about a player here who has been keeping. All right, Trafford. I don't know if he got Player of the Year or not, but he was nominated for it. James Beadle was keeping him out of the England under-21 team. And we can argue politics and circumstance. He's that profile of goalkeeper, and it just so happens that he's ended up dropping his arse against Coventry, and that's left him where he is. And I don't know, the other thing, I don't know if there's, appearance fees. Has he been left out of the team because we have to?
And there's probably a lot about playing our own. There's probably something about playing our own keeper as well, though, and bedding in Piers Charles and all the rest of it. There's all that on the back of the Coventry. I think it's been a perfect storm of getting dropped, which is a difficult thing to talk about. Craig Hayward's put a comment up there saying Southampton as Ramsdale replacement. I mean, Southampton have needed a new goalkeeper since they signed Aaron Ramsdale, but that's not for me to talk about. Meow, meow, meow. Holly, talk about the goal. Barry Bannon makes a tackle. Shea pumps one in. Did he steal it off Pato?
Do you know what? Not for me to not be able to see a goal or anything, and nothing to do with the 11 o'clock fireballs. But I actually thought it was Pato's goal until I saw Josh Windass celebrating. I feel like it was going. Maybe Windass, he had that chance that was just so easy, and they tried to make it into a worldie for some reason, and then he just thought, I'll take what I can get. I'm leaving today no matter what. I'll take what I can get. Just nicked it off of someone on the line. But yeah.
You'd take it though for a record, wouldn't you? You do it. Was it? Oh, what's his name? David Nugent on his England debut. Rolling in on the line and he touched it in.
One cap, one goal, Nuji. Yeah, definitely like that. But I've watched it a few times and I think he did need to make sure, I must admit. I flip-flopped on it and thought, just let Pato have it. We're going in. But I think he did need to make sure. And you're right. When you've got that carrot dangling of that award, you're like, yeah, you're going to give it a go. Listen, I tell you what, I'm going to take a deep breath because I've spilt Coke all over my desk. So bear with me.
Brace yourself. Some people are gonna try and sell you some things.
Everything's all sticky. So right then, let's get back. So Svanti played a beauty of the ball into the box. Gassama makes no real attempt to get the ball, opting to chuck himself onto the floor. Ash, what we had on Saturday was another frustrating performance from Jeddy Gassama, who has been playing shit of late, and it's doing me head in. He is making no attempt to stay on his feet, whereas when he hit that rich vein of form in the middle of the season, him staying on his feet was the best part of his game because he was getting kicked and smacked and absolutely smashed all over. And now he's going, I'm just going to hit the deck. This one in the penalty box was a joke.
It just reminds me when he first came and started. He was very lightweight. He went down easy. Just no attempt to stay on his feet. But frustrating. I think he just wants a break now, doesn't he? I think he's played a lot of football. He has been like manhandled quite a lot on the pitch. So, I think he was just waiting for the 90 minutes to tick over, and I think he's going to get himself on holiday, rest, recuperate, and hopefully see him back next season. So, it's frustrating because he has been good, but over the last, 6-7 weeks maybe, he's not performed like he had done. But then again, 99% of the players are the same, aren't they? So,
on the flip side, Svanti has bookended the season of mediocrity with them two performances. I nearly got my Sweden shirt back out.
He was good. He was very good. He was very good on Saturday, which is dead odd because you're right. He bookended it. We thought we'd got a mega player. In fact, Liam Palmer in the summer before his testimonial told us that this kid's fantasy is going to be something special, and it came out and we were like, oh my god, he's amazing. And then flatlined for an entire season. Then at the end of the season, just boom, there you are. It's another Svanti Ingelsson masterclass. Stevie, let's talk about the Watford goal. They were on top for a long time. And I think when they scored, we were doing the Deschamps Bernard chant for some reason. I don't know why. I completely missed it and I had to watch it back. Otabeo didn't really track his man, did he?
I think he got caught square as a centre half. He's positioning weren't right. I'd actually, and I'm going to say it, and I hate saying it, I'd attribute it more towards Marv than Otagbeo. I think the lad's drifted off Marvin Johnson. I think Marvin Johnson needs to tell Otagbeo that the play's running. It's made him look like a bit of a dick because the guy's just drifted straight away. But Marv, as soon as it goes through, if you watch it back, Marv puts his hand in the air as if to say he's offside. He doesn't realise that Gassama, I think it was, his left back. Marv's in no man's land, and Otagbale's there. And I don't know, we might have coaches that'll listen to this and say we're talking absolute nonsense. But for me, Marvin Johnson could have helped Otagbale a bit there. Otagbale's got to do better. But I think if Mark gives him a shout and just says the man's running towards him, I'd expect that. And we've talked about us playing, standard football. If your player's running towards you, you've got a man running into your space. It doesn't take ability to just say, right, he's shifting, he's drifting into your area. Be aware he's on your left shoulder, he's on your right shoulder, wherever. Having said that, once he's got through, he did what Windass didn't, did he? He's at the target.
Yeah, I think the worst.
To be fair, I thought he took it well, but
He didn't though. Like if you look at his first touch, it's shit. Like, it's a really terrible touch, and then he still had time to trap it and place it home. Like, come on, bro. Is anybody up his ass or what? Is anybody? But middle of the last game of the season, Trent can't hold anything back. Ash, let's go for some comments, shall we?
Yeah, why not? That's what it's all about, isn't it? Yeah.
We're recording, Ash. We're live.
Hello.
what I will say is, I whilst we were talking about Gassama being a rich vein of form, I think Marv is in the opposite of that at the moment. He's certainly not in a rich vein of form.
There is a comment here that says, "Careful, MJ will be in your DMs." I'm just treading on your toes now, here, Ash.
You give me a job, let me do the job. Jeez, it's all right for you. Hungover, don't care, do you? Professionally, yeah. I didn't have a drink all weekend because I knew Monday night got a job on, got a big show.
Yeah, that's why you stayed off the beer, is it, Ash? Because Monday night, yeah.
That's it. Andrew Osborne says MJ at fault for me, and Ben says be careful, Steve. Oh, this is what you've just referenced, Daniel. Be careful, Stevie. Marv will be in your mentions. That's
you can at me, Marv, if you want.
Well, look at that flutter of the eyes as well. Then
I'm not throwing. It makes it sound, when you're critical, it makes it sound like you're throwing shade, and I'm not. I'm trying to be objective, and it was just my observation. However, what I will say is, it does feel that he's been the victim of such comments quite a lot over the last 3-4 weeks. So,
was there a shout for offside or not?
No.
Could we see it round the corner?
No.
I'd have appealed for it. I'd have had my arm in the. I'm not running.
I did.
He did. He appealed. Play was still in front of him.
I'd have done exactly the same. And then gone nuts.
A bit harsh, this.
What's that?
Get Ash subbed off. Ash, no. Ash is on the beach. Look at this.
Yeah.
Jeez,
yeah.
I know.
Ash is on the beach.
Brilliant. Come on, kids, play
that.
Brilliant. Yes. Simon's been in Turkey getting a Brazilian butt lift. Right. So there was another Otabeo area error as he clashed with Charles, who made an excellent stop. Kayembe tries a long ranger, flies to the left and upward, ballooned it. Valerie received a ball to pop a beauty across to the edge of the box for Kabatsky. This one for me, Stevie, was dreadful. What's happened?
Stu Williams.
Stu Williams has been on and said, bring him off for John in portrait mode.
I'm so sorry.
I'm trying to move on here. Kids.
Sorry. Apologies. Go again. Sorry.
Right. Valerie receives the ball to pop a beauty across to the edge of the box, and Kabatsky missed completely going on the inside. He just fucked it up. That is a shitty miss, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's someone who hasn't played for ages, in it. That's someone who's not much sharp. Anyone else, even if it just hit them.
Apart from
it's the kind of chance that you get, and when you talk about people being on thousands of pounds a week, there was no difficulty in terms of technique there. He's just got to hit the target. He's got to set himself right. He doesn't even have to put anything on it, just offer the surface. And when he goes, he offers the surface and he puts it a yard wide. He
did everything right. He was in the right place. Valerie played a beauty to him. Kept it down. That's where he needed to be. Christ. Yeah. Oh, that one annoyed me. And anyway, I think I wrote sends a Giltez chance wide of the post. Crap is what I wrote. That's what the notes say. So that's where I've gone from there. Now the game finished 1-1. However, notably, Josh Windass did score the 53rd goal of his Sheffield Wednesday career to be our most prolific goal scorer. For somebody who doesn't play in an out-and-out goal scoring position, is pretty impressive. In spite of what we said about him about 10 minutes ago, Callum Patterson got himself the assist, who is just genuinely one of the most photogenic people in the world. I think I'm really going to miss him if he goes. And these are the statistics that Stevie put together. The they beat us. If you
but at half time it said they'd had 10 shots. And I know I'd also had 10 shots by that point.
I was going to say, how many were you fielding?
There is no way that they had 10 shots in that first half. That did not happen, did it? Who made this up?
I don't know. What were you doing at half time, H?
I just had a little snoozette at half time. I just had to close my eyes for a little bit just to reassess.
Just rested your eyes.
Yeah.
They had 5 shots in that period.
And they're calling for me to be subbed. They're very professional. She didn't even watch bloody game.
No, just at half time, I had my Love Heart Wednesday sunglasses on, and I just had a little. I just needed to reassess what was going on.
Make some better life choices.
I don't think if you'd have just seen the result and then looked at the stats, it doesn't tell you the game. You know, because I don't think there was 18 shots at all from what obviously were, but Watford, and I wouldn't have said that they battered us in them stats. The eye test of watching the game. I know possession very even, but yeah.
Do you know what else though? Who cares? Like they don't care. We don't care.
which brings me on to my next point. Here's the final league table. So Sheffield Wednesday in 12th, Watford finished 14th. 12th at the start of the season, I'd have gone, yes, please, I'll take 12th. However, given how close we were to the playoffs and how much we kept dropping our ass every time we got near the playoffs, the chairman nonsense that we've had, the manager stuff, Shea Charles, will he stay, will he go, are we going to sign a defender? All of that soap opera, all of everything that's gone off has given me what I think is actually a really good result based on our last season when, you know what I mean? It just, all of that, I don't want to say it's pale into insignificance. You know, we've got protests and chairman issues still looming over us, don't get me wrong, but 12th's not bad, right? And I guess the question that I'm going to come to you all with, and I'll put it out to you guys as well, this is not the hot topic, we'll come back to that in a bit, but, you know, is 12th all right? Like, Ash, where do you sit with it?
I think start of the season, I said something anywhere between 10th and 14th. So I got it spot on. I'll take that. And I'm happy with that as progression if you take on last season. But like you, Dan, being 2 points off in middle of January playoffs and not pushing on from that is a little bit like the club have let themselves down for whatever reason. And there's multiple reasons that in January there may be things happen.
I mean, signing Sissoko over a defender was a head scratcher, but I don't know. Obviously, the transfer workers. I genuinely believe that there was an endeavour made to get somebody over the line. Surely, right?
Yeah, maybe, but signing someone in January that played 51 minutes is I don't know. I don't know what the word. Well, I know there's a couple of words, but. Unforgivable, I think that one is, isn't it? Because obviously he was not signed by Danny Rule. I think he was somebody's signing that he's had half a decent start to the season with Plymouth, who obviously went down second bottom, and then thought, yeah, we'll get him in, and it just didn't work, did it? So 12 for me, top half table Owls, but it's just the way. I think I've seen a stat today on Twitter that it's been 20 odd years since 2 teams got in the playoffs with less than 70 points. So
really,
so it's been a piss poor championship, really, with the top 3.
Yeah, it really has. So we finished 12th in 21 clowns fighting in a pit against, well, if you look at the internet, 3 gorillas. Stevie, where do you sit with it? Like, that's a successful season, right? That's all right in it. That's not bad. I mean, it's our highest finish since 2017.
It's incredible that we're saying, given everything that we've seen and we've had to deal with over the last sort of 8-9 months, that we're calling this a successful season, finishing 12th. And you know, objectively, you've got to look at it and say, yeah, you're right. But you take the upheaval, the protests, the managerial sort of uncertainty, the transfer activity, the squad, and everything else.
Win at 3:00 on a Saturday at home. That's worth the 400-mile round trip.
All of that, and we're calling 12th a success. I'd agree with you. And if somebody had said at the start of the season that rule will be here guaranteed for the next 3-4 years. And then you look at it and we finished 12th and we've progressed incrementally. Regardless of form since January, we have progressed incrementally over the course of the season since we finished last year. You'll take it because you know we're going to go again this summer. And you know, for me, that's absolutely fine. I think the elephant in the room is that there are so many people now that are worried about what's going to happen next season, potentially going to lose a manager, players out of contract and moving on, no money, not going to be able to replace. So what does next year look like? So you might be looking at this now thinking, yeah, it's been successful and let's enjoy it while we can. I'd have taken 12th at the end of the day. I think my prediction was sort of anywhere between 6th and 10th, just missing out on the playoffs. And then we got a bit giddy at Plymouth and went, right, we're going to win it all at the start of the season. But it is what it is, and there's a lot of factors. So it's difficult to sort of qualify or quantify the extent to which we've had a successful season. We've made progress, but I think people are sort of bracing themselves for a bit of a shitstorm, aren't they?
Holly, what about you?
Well, I spoke to the Women of Watford fan group, and they were sort of.
Are they called the Women of Watford?
Hey, what?
Are they called the Women of Watford fan group?
Wow. Yeah.
Are they? Wow,
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Wow.
I get it.
And they were sort of happy with mid-table. We were happy with mid-table, although I thought that it was weird and boring in itself, the game. But you can count how many mid-table championship seasons it's done before the end of the year we've had on the hands of a snake. And I feel like we should be happy. We should be happy with it. But there was a point in the game for like 20 minutes where Blackburn snuck into the playoffs and us and Watford all went, "You are joking. If they've got in, what were we like? What were we doing?" And I feel like nobody would have accepted it if Blackburn had got in. And then when they dropped back out, everyone went, "Oh, thank God." Because they seemed like they've been near us all season.
Ollie, you saying "you are joking" is definitely going to next season's credits. That's exactly what you are joking.
Well,
not another one.
Well, can I be controversial for a second?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm shocked. Let me click my pearls in advance.
Please do.
Our fans were singing, "We're not going down, we're not going up."
Yep.
After 2 months of protesting about the fact that we're not going up, so it's literally all that we do care about.
Mm-hmm.
But have we considered, and hold on to your pearls, Wednesday Dars, have you considered that rather than us being shit being the blip, that us being good was the blip, and this is just us?
Wow.
Give it to me, boys. Come
on. Again, that's going in the credits.
Yeah, that's good. That's definitely going in the credits.
I'm not emotionally ready, but I tell you what we'll do, Holly. I will clip that and I will make that next week's hot topic. We've got a lot to get through tonight, but I kind of like that. Like that's a great question. I want to think about it, and I want to hit you with some stats and some something that may reiterate your point. Ash, let's wrap this up. Tell me what the people are saying about this topic. Was 12 good enough?
Stu Williams, 12th is a good finish, but the second half of the season was utter shite.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Matt Strickland, 52 minutes apparently, Sissoko, so apologies. I did him out of a minute. Oh, dear. And then on a bite, Stu said on about Sissoko. Someone told us he was George Way's cousin. And then Matt Strickland ended up being George from Asda's cousin. Dunderbird, perfect season to invest in January and take it by the scruff. Another season compromised by a January Chancery failure.
That's a mouthful, isn't it? It's a January chance. January. Go on.
Yeah. Chef Cam would have taken 12th before. Happy with it now, but the gloom cloud looms in. Well, exactly what you're saying. You guys are saying. And there's been a lot of love for the club Wow.
Club Wow, Women of Watford. Kind of like that. I feel like we could have gone with Women of Wednesday and completely stolen that gag, but Let's get Emma and Beth on. We'll get them on next week. Get them told off. And the game finished, and we had this photo that seemed a bit final to me. I kind of like the photo, and you can see my blue T-shirt in the back there behind the Nanas. The away day outfits were doing great, and there was actually 4 lads dressed in a Cool Runnings costume with bobsled. And they had it round them, and they were with a geezer who was on crutches, and they were kind of stood next to him trying to get down the stairs. And JK turned around to me and goes, "He's probably just fallen out of that bobsled. That's why he's on crutches." And I spurted water from my nasal cavities, so that's nice, isn't it? Let's move on to the man in charge. So there was a lot of chat about Danny Roll's post-match comments. He said, "I think after the game today, I had a view of my last 560 days at this club to look in their faces. How will they, the fans, call my name? It's always special. The heartbeat of this club are the fans. They're always there. I have never had a negative experience with these fans. Always positives. We don't know what happens in the next couple of days. I know what I want to do. My picture is very clear, but it's also a part of the decision making of the club." He takes a look straight down the camera. "I will not forget this place. It doesn't matter what happens now. To have such a relationship so quickly, such a belief, such hope, such a respectful togetherness. I kind of expected this when I took over, and it will be part of the bottom of my heart." Ash, that sounds all a bit see you later, doesn't it?
It does, but he did leave a couple of carrots in there, didn't he, just to keep you talking about it, and which we are doing. So yeah, it does seem it, and I'm led to believe that he did get on a flight straight back to Germany to his family straight after the game, which I don't blame him. He's had an hard season. He wants to get home to his wife and kids. I got no issue with that. I know some people
and bear in mind, he probably flew from Luton Airport actually as well. And they get battered everywhere they go.
Instead of driving all 3 hours on a coach or whatever it is up to Sheffield to then get over to Manchester or whatever. Yeah. So, it does. And I think there's been a lot of speak over the last few weeks about his position. He's still contracted. And we know what Chancellor is like with contracts and negotiations, isn't it? So, you want, it won't be a surprise to see someone going on gardening leave for the next 2 years. just to piss him off and say, look what you could have won, type of thing. He's obviously ambitious, isn't he? He's ambitious, and no doubt he'll have gone to Chancellor with his needs and wants and say, look, if we're going to push on and get into that top 6 next season, I want X, Y, Z. It's probably not happening. He spoke to other clubs, maybe, I don't know, and they've turned his head, saying, look at our facilities, we can offer you X, Y, Z. And he's thinking about it, but yeah, it will be a shame. But we're never going to know why, the reasons, are we? So.
I don't think he's completely blameless in a lot of these stories, but I feel like he's responsible for the success, and he probably gets a bit of a pass. Holly, he did double down, and he said, "My picture is clear. The club knows my picture, and to continue in some ways, it is important for me that it becomes clear in which direction it goes. I cannot say more about this." Does that make it sound like he's laid a bit of a gauntlet at the chairman's feet, or do you reckon he's?
No, I feel like that's him saying, "I'm off." Yeah, I feel like that's him just saying, "Stop asking him for compensation and just let me go." But do you know? It has been brilliant, and I have loved it. And yes, he is the best manager. Although that is the other managers that we've had before him were picking between a shit and a turd. So it's like it weren't difficult for him to become the best manager that we've had in ages, was it? But part of me thinks, because of how we've been and the immediate success, has he started to believe his own hype a bit too early? Because our form, really, like somebody said, the second half of the season has been poor. Someone else would have got sacked for some periods of that, I think. And it doesn't take a lot in football for another young manager to just pull it out of the fire for 3 months and then nobody cares who Danny is. I'm not saying that. I do like him, but do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he believed his own hype a little bit too early, when he could have just, like, it could have got us in the playoffs. and then maybe definitely secured somebody wanting to pay that compensation. Southampton might have inquired and gone, I'm not going to pay that much. But if we'd have got in playoffs, they might have gone, actually, he's proved he was worth it. Like, he hasn't actually achieved it.
To be fair, H, there's a comment here from Martin Beebe saying, can I ask you all, do you really think the football has improved that much?
Exactly. But I am going to miss that fucking song.
I think the football's improved. I think the way they're trying to play, there is some sort of progression with Pierce Charles as well from the back, but
there is a smattering of some absolute kickings in there as well. Like
yes, yeah, there's been not a lot. There has been times where we have played dog awful for 45 minutes in the first or second half.
Every game, there's a 45-minute of playing shit.
And then the 45-minute, either before or after that, has been some of the best football we've seen. There is that, and there is going to be something in that, and he's got to get that out of it if he goes to a new club or next season, whatever it is. But I think the football's improved. I think watching Sheffield Wednesday now compared to, I won't even say Sissoko, because that was just dogs, but then Monk, Pulis,
the Monk trumpet, yeah.
All that, I think the football as a whole of all 90 minutes has improved.
Fair enough. Now, Stevie, I've left you out of this. Because, ladies and gents, I'm going to get to a hot topic. Not the hot topic, a big topic. Ash, wrap up this Danny chat with some comments, and while I get blow the dust off an old video.
I don't think that's appropriate.
No, that's not appropriate, is it? Tim Wymark's been on. Just my comment earlier says DC's too tight to pay for gardening leave and a new manager. That is fair play. Ben says Daddy Roll checked out in January.
Yeah.
Holly. Well, yeah.
Also, in his comments, he said it's always been positive with the Wednesday fans. I think he's underestimated Yorkshire people's ability to hold a grudge after something's happened.
Yes.
We'll see.
And Martin says you don't have to forget the song. You can still do it, Holes. Danny Fudge. No,
I completely endorse this song. However, Danny is what they call my father, so it seems like a song about him, which I we're the same person. He's just a bit older. Go on, Ash.
And Chef Cam says couple of pastings, but I'd rather lose 4-0 trying to win than lose 4-0 trying not to lose.
Yep.
Is that so?
Listen, let's get on to it because Stevie's probably got a lot to say on the topic. But first, I'm going to drop you one of these. The rumour mill. It has surfaced over the last couple of weeks via a couple of texts, and it also a couple of tweets, and then it also got mentioned on the Wednesday Teledyne podcast last night that Liam Palmer has been offered a year's extension to stay with Sheffield Wednesday. Me personally, I feel like why, but I feel like Stevie is going to try and convince me otherwise. So, Stevie, the floor is yours. Tell me why this is a good idea.
Because we are in a situation of volatility and uncertainty, and as I said last week, and I've said for a few weeks now, I don't think that we are going to be able to get a better squad player and a person that is the fabric of the club that will improve things as much as retaining Liam Palmer would.
Okay. Yeah. Can I just ask a brief one just on that point? Is there a rot within the club? And this is not my personal thoughts, but you see comments online, and I'm just trying to open up a conversation here that we have players like Bannon that's been there a decade. We've got Liam Palmer who's been there since Snickers were opal fruits. Like, is it not time to just have a clear out and start again? Is it not time just to get rid of the clique? Is a strong word. This is what people are saying online. Again, this is not me, but I just want to bring this conversation in.
No, and this is I think we're coming at the same point from a different perspective, if you like. And I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think Liam Palmer is a unique case in 2025 of somebody who is, he's a clubman, he's a journeyman. He's the antithesis of a journeyman. in the sense that he's only been with us, but he's the kid who in 2005 was in Cardiff. You've got the photos of him growing up. You've got the mural on the Park Hotel. He's a guy who's been in and around it for as long as he has. I will say, as a quick aside, I think the things that we talk about and converse when it comes to in-game play, if Palmer does things that certain other players do, he would not get the passes that they get in terms of people's opinions, in terms of his performance. And I think he's a bit of a scapegoat. And I think that's a legacy thing from 8-9 years ago. I genuinely do. And I know that James, we were with on Saturday, is a huge proponent of it's time to move him on. And I get that. And I get everybody else's arguments. It's time to move him on. Fine. You come and get me a better player then. And that's it. Get me a better player that's going to come in.
Get me one. Now, Holly, where do you sit on it?
I think everyone, like this is going to happen to Pierce Giles, it happens to everybody, Cameron Dawson, whoever comes through that's one of our own. Everyone sings the one of our own. They say play them, get them in the first team. It'll happen to Cadamartri, everybody. And then as soon as they're actually solidified in the squad, they're seen as cheap because we didn't pay anything for them. So they're just like, I don't think we value them to what their actual value is, and we don't see how good they are. I do like Liam Palmer, but I can't tell if I'm just doing that thing where he's just part of the furniture and I don't want to change it. I don't know. He is. I don't know if I like Stevie, you just said that people discredit him because of his legacy. I feel like I'm on the other side of that. I feel like I think, oh yeah, but he was good. But like, when was he good?
League One.
I think just on that point though, I think he's a better player in the last 2-3 years than he was 6-7 years ago. But because he made the profile and mistake that he made 6-7 years ago, people will jump on him now and go, it was Liam Palmer's fault.
No, I think in League One he was good enough. But I think in the Championship, I just can't see like who.
Right. Okay. So let me come on that. Sorry to cut you off. So when we were at Sunderland on the last game of the season last year, and it was Palmer and Windass, and when it was him that was dropping in for the Stoke goal when we drew 1-1, when we were in the relegation fight to keep us in the Championship, it was Liam Palmer. It's a guy who's played right back. It's a guy who's played right at the centre of three. It's a guy who's ended up playing in the middle of the park. He's played in different positions as much, if not more, than any other player in the team. He is an absolute utility player.
We were arguing at the bottom, and we also just argued that we should be getting into the playoffs. So do you think he's good enough? What other team in the Championship would have him? Do you think someone else would have him? Because I don't think they would.
100%. 100%.
You think someone else in the Championship will go for him?
I'm saying, well, it's a moot point now, isn't it? Because it looks like he's staying with us. But however, he's got the ability to play in Championship. I'm not saying, and let's be right, I'm not saying that he's going to be a starting right back, right centre half, or midfielder in a team that is going to finish top 3-4 in the Championship. But as it stands on 5th of May, I think it is tonight, 2025, when we look at Sheffield Wednesday next season, we aren't talking about us fighting for a title or a playoff at the minute, because we're talking about all the volatility that's going on in and around the club. If we are going to aspire to get into those areas, yes, fine. I'd give him another year and say, right, you're going to be that squad player that might do the job that he's done this season and keep him in and around the club, and let's see it out. However, what I would also say is we aren't in that situation at the moment. We don't look like we've got a manager that's going to be here next season. We don't look like we've got money to throw at the club. We don't know where we are in terms of what it looks like. So if we've got somebody who's loyal to this club, who's a Sheffield Wednesday fan, who knows the place and is highly regarded by young players and current players that are going to be here next year.
But like, did we not keep hold of Lee Bullen too long for that same reason? And what value was he actually adding towards the end of that? I think we cling on to these people too long. Other teams don't do that. They don't care.
But we weren't,
and then they go,
with Lee Bullen, we weren't in that situation where we flirted with the playoffs and we were looking at it and we had Danny Rule as manager. And we were going at it, and I've just seen Stu Williams gone, look what you've started. I get it, Holly. I totally understand. I wouldn't put Palmer and Bullen in the same conversation. I wouldn't, because of where they are. What I'm trying to say is we need to either lower our expectations and keep him, or understand that we aren't pushing for titles, playoffs, and everything else. He has a place in this squad because we need to lower our expectations for this squad next year.
Ash, go quick, Ash. That was good, by the way. That was excellent.
Can I just say something? I think what it's been reported that he signed a 2-year contract last year, not a 1+1. So I think that's the question. Why, if Danny Roll was there, we've offered Liam Palmer a 2-year contract when we should have been going up rather than 1? So if we believe that we were going to progress, I don't think they should have offered him 2 years. If that's the case, but we don't know if it is. You don't know if it's 1+1 or if it was 2 years. Do you know what I mean?
Tell you what. This is going to get
discussed. But I do agree with Steve there. For this summer, which we didn't know last summer when we offered him 2, if it was this summer, we're in the shit, and we can't replace everyone. If you believe that there's 15 players out of contract, there's got to be some people staying that you would think moving on. And if Palmer's going to be one that can play right back, centre back, can do a number of things okay. And I think he came on last week and I thought it was abysmal, but that's because he hasn't played many minutes or anything. But then is that going to happen again if he doesn't play minutes? Is he going to come on and make mistakes and then get, like Stevie says, vilified because of what he's done in the past rather than what he is now? So
but Jack Hunt's available again. Would we have him back? He were on a par with Palmer at one point, but we wouldn't play him now, would we? Because we've moved on and time changes.
I tell you what, let's take at the risk of making it sound like a Zoom call at work. Let's take this offline, and we'll have it online but offline right now. We've got some great comments here, by the way. Ben says LP2 is the least of our problems, and then you've got Danny who says time for him to go, and then you've got some Palmer badly underestimated here. And someone just went with Andrew Osborne would get Forestieri back. I tell you what, let's put a pin in that and keep the sponsors happy.
Brace yourself. Some people are gonna try and sell you some things.
Now, boys and girls, it's normally part of this show where I launch into the hot topic, but we get a lot of complaints about that, about people breaking speakers and annoying people. So we're going to go into the hot topic today that's got its own theme tune today, boys and girls. So brace yourself. It's not as loud as hot topic, but as we go into the annual...
Who will stay? Who will be on the way? Contract tender. Who will stay? Who will be on the way? Contract tender.
Yes, boys and girls, it's Contract Tinder. It's that time of the year once again. That's the first time Stevie's seen that, and I think we're going to lose him for the next couple of minutes.
That's the exact same reaction I had when I first saw it.
This is what I get for turning up late.
Yeah, that's what you do for getting on John time. That's.
I mean, I'm going to be a bit. I know we've just had that, and I'm going to be pretty serious now. I mean, this season we've had a lot of ups and downs, and obviously the biggest thing was obviously we won this little thing here, an award. Yeah, that's the kind of shit we're going to win multiple ones them of. I'm telling you, you don't. When I listen to a couple of podcasts, they don't do nothing like that, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I think that is top draw, that Daniel.
The difficulty about doing ridiculous shit like that is to make the little Tinder logos that you guys listening to won't have seen it, but there was like a little Tinder graphic, and I spent far too long on that than what was necessary.
Like zoomies.
It was necessary. It was necessary.
I tell you what,
100. You made my day.
Yeah. I'm going to mention some players and quickly, because we're kind of running out of time here, but we might get another 10, 15 minutes out of it. I'm going to name some players. You guys are going to show your work in and tell me whether you are going to swipe left or swipe right. You're going to keep them or let them slide.
I have a question, Daniel. For a guy who's been very happily married for 20 years, on Tinder, which is left and which is right?
I don't know. I feel like
Just do a
I
thumbs
should.
up or a thumbs down.
Just thumbs up, thumbs down. Let's do that. Let's do that.
And sorry, just before we go into some positive, I don't know if Daryl's on about us chatting shit, fed up.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's get into the
That is
beans on
actually the most
toast then.
accurate review we've ever had.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Can you put that on Apple for us?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, put that on Apple. Yeah, 5-star, please.
Right.
Cheers, Daryl.
Let's get into it. So contract Tinder, we're going to go left, we're going to go right. I found these on Transfer Marked. I don't know if they're going to be correct. I don't know if they're going to be correct or not. But the first one that came up was not the loan players on here, obviously, but Anthony Masaba. Ash, do we stick or twist?
Stick. Right for like. Apparently, John says so. Yep.
Right for like. What about you, Stevie?
Keep him. Swipe right.
Swipe right.
Keep him.
We're keeping Masaba. I'm gonna.
Can we have Masaba from last season though? Not this
last
one.
season, Masaba. That would be a good one.
Oh, I don't know. This last few weeks, I think he's overtook Kasama's dropped off a little bit, and I think the cameos that Masaba's made has been in the right direction.
They're like bubbles in a lava lamp. One's up, one's down.
But that's the best way I've ever heard it described. That's really good. Akin for Maywo.
Right for like.
Okay. Stevie?
Keep him. Yeah, I think he's the one out of all of these that we're probably going to get through that I think potentially is he's got it all. He's young, he's big, he's physical, he's strong. We've turned him into a hell of a player. Keep
This
him.
does sound like Tinder.
Go on, H.
I keep him.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'd keep him.
Okay. For Maywo's in. Now, this one's going to cause some discourse, I reckon. It looks like a shark from A Shark's Tale. We've lost Ash for a minute. Callum Patterson, Stevie.
Oh.
If you're keeping Palmer, you got to keep Pato.
Yeah, have that, Stevie. You called Palmer utility man.
I'd
He'll probably sell you some utilities as well. You know, he's so versatile.
Shut up. Shut up. I keep him.
Yeah.
Andrew says no. Dunderburn and Craig Hayward say yes. SWFC says yes. So that might be a bit of luck inside, or somebody might have the same handle as the club. Ashley.
Yeah, swipe right for me, Pato. I think he same point that Stevie made with Palmer. I think we're going to struggle in summer. I think he's a useful squad player, and actually, like you said, he started the last 9-10 games, and he's done all right as well. He has. So for me, yeah, and he's what is he 30, 31? I don't know. I don't know the ages.
I don't know anymore. I don't know how people look at a certain age.
Oh, definitely. Then if he's late 20s, yeah.
And then we've got Holly. I don't think I'm going to ask you about Callum Patterson, if I'm honest. I'm going to come straight to you with Paul Valentin.
No.
Ooh.
Get rid of him.
First thumbs down.
He's cute though, but no.
What about you, Stevie Paolo? One trick.
Yeah, I'd let him go.
Let him go.
I think the first one for me left. He can only offer 60 minutes of any game, can't he? And he's like you say, he's got the pace, but he's got nothing else. Bit suspect in defending. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Fair enough. Michael Smith, Ashley.
Yeah, he's got to go. Yep. 34, I think big time season starts. And I know he has offered stuff this season. I know he has, but yeah. I'm going to say left.
Holly. Michael Smith.
I would keep him forever. And that's a guy that I really didn't think he was going to play this season at all.
He's in that cupboard behind her.
Yeah, I really didn't think he was going to play at all this season. And I just think every game that he hasn't played, I just love the guy. What a man.
A lot of people saying keep him. Stevie, you've got the deciding vote.
I have a newfound respect for Michael Smith. I think he's been one of the 2 or 3 standout players this season that have had some sort of renaissance, but reluctantly I'd let him go for age reasons, and I'm hoping that we can get something a little bit more prolific next year.
So you're saying let him go?
I'd thank him for all his efforts. I think he's been fantastic this year, and I hope
but
I hope he goes on to finish his career off. But
based on what you were just saying, then where would you sit on Barry Bannon?
Me?
Yeah.
10 more years.
10 more years. 10 more years for Barry Bannon.
10 more years. 10 more years, Barry Bannon.
Holly?
I probably keep Bannon if Bannon's going to accept playing every other game, but not if he thinks he's going to play every week.
Ashley?
Yeah, I'm the same. Probably offering 1 year reduced terms and not going to be playing. We're all about moving forward, aren't we? We're going to try and, like you said, Dan, about people that have been here 10 years or more and been stuck in that. I think it's always been perceived that he's been the one in the midfield. And we've shown, I know Shea Charles is 50 million quid and he's going to go on to great things, but it's shown if we can get a couple of decent centre midfielders, then if he plays every other game or something, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Where someone's gone there. Em's gone with Championship Modric, which I quite enjoy. So Bannon's in. I know where Holly and Stevie sit on Liam Palmer. What about Ash? You're going to have the deciding vote on that one, bro.
I don't think we've got a choice because it's 2 years, so he's here. So I think it's a
Cop out.
Cop out.
Oh, I would say exact same. Probably is here for shits and giggles and not for much game time.
Oof. Craig A was gone with a thumb down as well. So we're going to keep him. And last one. Oh God, I've not done well with this list. The last one, Holly, Marvin Johnson.
Well, it might be time for my campaign of him being my future husband to end, I think. But I also think, also if Windass leaves, I think it breaks the seal on that group of them so I think they'll all go. I think like Windass, MJ, there's like, and Bannon, they're all like little bit of a little gang out there, and I think they'll all sort of go. But for personal reasons, I'd keep Marvin Johnson, but probably let him go.
Stevie.
Thank him for everything. Reluctantly see him on his way.
Ash.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think last season it was a bit of a saviour, weren't he? I think he came in from the cold. We mentioned it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Did incredibly well, but I think this season, especially towards the last couple of months, he has gone backwards. And yeah.
I think he loves the drama of it, doesn't he? When he's like the chips are out, bring him back from Dubai, I'll show you. And when someone goes, you can play every week, Marv, we believe in you. He's like, oh.
No, not bothered. Not bothered. That's what it's like. So, based on all that chat that we had about Liam Palmer, about looking forward to the future, out of Masaba, Firmino, Patterson, Valentin, Smudge, Bannon, Palmer, we're only getting rid of 3 of them. We're keeping 5. And so, Paul, Smudge, you got rid of Smudge, you rat bastards, and MJ. Thanks for the memories. However, I don't want to end it on a sour note, so you're getting this again.
Who will stay? Who will be on the way? Contract tender. Who will stay? Who will be on the way? Contract tender.
And so, ladies and gents, thanks a lot for getting involved in that. That was today's Hot Topic. What's Cy Hodgkinson saying? What's he saying?
Don't know if I've missed the TWW loving, been sat in my pants watching Sam Hutchinson's Wimbledon goal on repeat. Anyway, thanks to all TWW for your amazing podcast and being even better people.
I tell you,
He sounds like a terrible judge of character.
That photo of Sam Hutchinson scoring for Wimbledon. He is a sexy, beautiful man. Stevie, it's time to talk about any other business. Let's talk about your thing, shall we?
Oh, yeah, let's do it. I'm trying to get over the. I've just seen Liam Palmer's hobbies, by the way, on that contract Tinder.
What did I write on that?
Wearing Stevie's pajamas.
Yeah, wearing Stevie pajamas. Yeah.
Okay. Totally thrown me. Sorry. Right, breathe. 30th of May, good mate of mine, good friend of the show, friend of the podcast, Simon Speakeasy Clark, is running one of his Speakeasy Club bench walks. We've long been an advocate of the stuff that he's doing. On that morning, I will be getting up at ridiculous o'clock and starting at Pride Park with him. We've also got Jabo, who's in the LMS chat, and Stu from Lensgo is going to be getting involved as well. There are opportunities I will share with our on our socials as well for people to sign up and get involved. But it's a 45-minute. We just leave that graphic on the screen. It's a 45 mile, not minute. That'd be great. Walk from Derby County to Hillsborough. So we're setting off at 4 a.m.
Sorry, does that say start at 4 a.m.?
It's a start at 4 a.m. We'll be setting up at 4 a.m. and the aim is to walk the charity to raise some funds and to raise awareness for the fantastic cause that I'll sort of advocate for over the next few weeks. Derby County to Alfreton to Chesterfield to Sheffield FC to Sheffield United to Sheffield Wednesday. Our aim is to get to Hillsborough for 8 p.m. on Friday that night. It's going to be a long old day with a lot of walking to be done, but it's all for a great cause. It's all for the fantastic work that Simon does through the Speakeasy Club, sort of just raising that awareness and encouraging people to have those conversations that are quite difficult at times. But yeah, he's a great bloke, salt of the earth, massive Wednesday fan, even though he's down in Cardiff. If we can get some support for this, it'd be absolutely fantastic.
Fair enough. Now, there are a couple of comments I just want to address. The first one is John Wakefield saying, how did you miss Windass, or did I nod off? He was part of about first 10 minutes. If you go back, there's a lot of chat about Windass. And then Ron's been on and said, came in late, have you mentioned Despot Chansiri rejecting buyout offers? I've heard about him rejecting offers from Adam Shaw, and I think we discussed that last week. And anything else, I've not really got anything to report on, I'm afraid. I don't think there's any other news. Go on, Ash.
It was last Monday, weren't it? I was at the Price of Football podcast.
That's right.
Live recording at Rotherham United's ground. I was in there, and there was a guy who comments a lot on our Facebook, Adam. He was sat in front of me as well. But then we came to the section of Sheffield Wednesday, and there's bits and pieces, and there was a voice from the back of the room, which happened to be Simon with a Y, 1867 News. They came on to some sort, I don't know how it come about, but there was about rejecting offers, and he said it was £43 million that was rejected, but then Chansiri came back with 120 million, I think he said, so obviously that's only come from Simon, and he announced that to a couple of hundred in the room, so I've got no reason to not, I don't know why he'd say it if it weren't true, so he must know. So
no, first, so that's what Simon
How
says,
can you
it's got to be true. But you know those have you ever seen those programs where like you've got the protagonist who's trying to raise money to keep the local community center open? Like that's what that, this is going to sound ridiculous, that's what that bid seemed like. We've got 43 million together, Dapon. Can we have the club? Yeah, of course you can. Know what you're going to do next month. You know what I mean? I feel like there's an element of that. Like we've kept the community centre open, and what are you going to do when the bill comes next month? Are you going to have another fundraiser or a topless car wash? That's how it works. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know how these things work. I'm just reporting it. I'm being facetious. But
none of these values mean anything to me. That like amount of money, 40 million, 120 million, it's all the same, innit? I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean anything to me.
I think that's the bit, Holly. I don't know what it means, because we valued our own ground at 60 million and got in trouble for it, and so the ground's got to be part of the buyout as well. And then you go up to the Premier League, and players are moving for that amount of money who are just average squad players, and I'm like, I can't. So what? Like, Gareth Bale went for 80 million, and I can buy 2/3 of Sheffield Wednesday with 2015 Gareth Bale. You know what I mean? I can't work it out. It just seems like noise to me right now. But Chef Cam did say 120 million is significant when you base on it other clubs, Ash.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that. Dunderbird said 120 million. Where's that come from? Simon did say that Chancery's valuation was because Ipswich got sold for 100 million the year before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he's got that in his head.
So we've added 20 million on
So
top
he's-
of
yeah,
that. Have we?
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so that plus some, you know what I mean?
Well,
And
it's the
Ipswich
seller's
have played pretty
market, innit, I suppose. Whatever you want to sell it for, if they really want it, they'll buy it. That's how it works. He gets to pick how much it costs.
Pretty much.
Doesn't he? Like, we don't get to go, well, I'll give you a tenner and a Freddo. Like it
Have you seen how much Freddos are nowadays, eh?
exactly. They're 120 million pounds.
120 million. Stevie, talk about the player of the year.
Yeah, so each year, each game this season, we've been running Supporters Player of the Year on the podcast. So every Saturday, I put a poll in the group chat, and we argue for what feels like 36 hours about the best 3 players of that game. There's no foundation for it really, other than us bunch putting our votes up, and that poll goes out the next day or that evening, and you guys will vote for one of 4. So it'll be person A, person B, person C. And I'm going to get the Ash's gripe out of the way. We also put comment up, and I think over the course of the season, we've had about 7 people comment. Somebody
People
different
like
than
pressing
us.
buttons. They don't want to be writing replies. They just like pressing buttons.
I don't want to tell you that Barry Bannon were great this week, and you've missed him out. Is basically what happened. So they just go person A. Anyway. The votes have come in, and we've compiled them. The way that it's worked is that we've given players a score out, a point. So we've given them 10 points for winning. We've given them 5 points for coming second, 3 points for coming third in that poll. And then if you got more than 50% of the vote, you got 2 bonus points. And it's given us a league tally for the players all the way through the season. I've been sitting on that, and I've got the top 10 ready to go, and we are going to drop those. I don't know if it's worth dropping the first one now.
Do you want to do number 10 now? 10th of the TWW Player of the Year, and then if you keep an eye on our socials the next few days, we will do one at a time.
Yeah.
Number 10, ladies and gentlemen, is Michael
So
Ehekwe.
our 10th player in the Player of the Year, Michael Ehekwe, played 20 times this season, scored 2 goals, didn't get any assists. His points per games are on the graphic as well. Worthy of note that when we share this on the socials, we'll have a little bit of a blurb that will talk about the high points and talk about how many player of the matches they got over the course of what we've done. Icky wasn't anywhere near the squad earlier sort of part of the season, and was missed out for a significant period of time, but has come 10th overall in the Supporters Player of the Year vote.
Never
So there
once
you
missed
go.
an header.
What Ballon d'Or of the Ed?
That's it.
That's what he's won.
I have a last thing, Dan, before you wrap up.
Wrap it up, Ash. Wrap it up. Son.
Saw a message come in from Charles Cheetham. The season's over, and I'm just discovering this for the first time. Where you been, son? Where you been? Hope you're back for next season, when we'll be going up.
Like and subscribe.
Please do, Charles. Yeah.
Charles, I was in my 20s when I started this show. It's like, that was 52 Botox appointments ago and about 6 trips to Turkey. Where have you been? Where have you been?
We have had a couple of Leeds United supporters on as well. Obviously, listen to the Yorkshire White Rose Rivals on a Thursday night that I do. So we've got Richard, Evening Ash, just go get an American consortium. Because
Just go get one.
10 a
Go on
penny, aren't
trees.
they? Yeah. MOT, which I'm not going to say what it means, but we all know. PS, congrats on the Easter egg collection for charity in Sheffield.
Nice one.
Cheers, thank you very
Oh,
much.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Is that a Lily White bin on that? That's fair play. Listen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And this will be, I don't think it's going to be the last time you're going to hear it, but I feel like we're on the vinegar strokes now of listening to Simon list out the social medias in which we share this podcast. I want to keep it, but we're going to have to do a rebrand in the summer at some point, kids. So I feel like we will do a poll at some point. Do we keep Holly in screaming, put that on your podcast? Because that's been a staple now for 3 years. So, we'll put that out at some point. But listen, thanks a lot for joining us. Ash, Stevie, Holly, that's the main season over. We've got a show next week talking about the end of the season on the whole. Ash is planning something pretty fucking special. So it's for the last time this season proper, it's the last time for me to say, see you later. Every week, live from 8 p.m, it's the Wednesday week. Bringing you football analysis.
He came in, I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there for podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.